Welcome back to the kitchen counter. Over the past week or so I've been tinkering and playing with Mica pigment powders, and I'm now at the point where I'm happy to go a bit bigger. These are a couple that I've done that were just practice pieces to try and find the consistency of the resin that I needed to use, the amount of mica, and the style that I liked. Now there are a few things wrong with these, in that I had the black was too much and infringed on the actual design, and the canvases that I was using actually sank in the middle even though I tightened the canvas, and so the design actually became too thin in the middle. So I fixed that, and today I'm going to be using a melamine board that I have laminated with another one just using double-sided tape, and that actually stops this one warping. I've leveled it, and we'll actually get back to this once I start the mixing. The colours for today will be the same as this. They are my favourite pearl white mica powder, an Aztec gold mica powder, a bronze, and wine red. The black I'm mixing is just global acrylic impasto paint. It seems to work really nicely in resin and doesn't leave any clumps. And the resin I'm using is Just Resin, a local Australian company whose resin I find is really nice. Now I will actually show you the actual mixing, and today I've got clear little things so that you can actually see exactly what I do. This is quite an unsophisticated setup. This is baking paper over a silicone art sheet. I use silicone muffin cups upside down to support my canvas, and I use these sticks to make a channel so that I don't get resin everywhere. I don't have a studio, so this is as safe as I can get. Now, when you're working with resin, please be aware of the safety precautions that you need to use. Gloves, have some alcohol or some hand sanitizer to remove any resin that you get on your skin. My windows are wide open, and I have a fan to extract the fumes when and if I torch. If you're sensitive and you don't have these fully ventilated areas, please use your respirator. Okay, let's start the mixing. There are calculators online that will help you determine how much resin you need. I may be a little bit frivolous with mine, but I think on this size board I need about 240 mils total of resin. So that means 160 mils of part A, and then 80 mils or 80 grams of part B. This is a 2-to-1 epoxy resin, and I'll take this up to 240 grams. Now I'm going to mix this for a couple of minutes, and I generally set my timer. Now, a lot of people mix this by just looking at it, and if you can see it's quite cloudy and quite stringy. It's a little bit cooler here today, so this might take a little bit more mixing, but you need to mix it until clear and that there's no stringy bits or cloudy bits. I should play some fast forward music for you in here, but people seem to like this bit as well. There are lots of different types of resin, and I don't profess to be an expert. In fact, I'm learning and you're learning with me. So I think, in my experience, the only way to really get good at resin is to just jump in and actually do it, making sure that you are safe. I double glove, and that helps me because I have a bit of a sensitivity to one set of gloves that actually fit. So I think it's a matter of experiment yourself and find the method or style that works for you. I like weights and times, so you'll always see me with my little set of scales, and I use my timers. People that do this a lot don't use those. They just understand. I'll get there eventually, I think, but at the moment, whatever makes you feel comfortable. Now, this does have a lot of bubbles in it, but I will be mixing micas and other things in this, so that will knock down some of the bubbles. And I think if you have the temperature a little bit warmer than I do at the moment, these bubbles will release quite quickly. There's my timer. Okay, I can't see any cloudy bits or unmixed bits. Remember to scrape down your sides and the bottoms of your mixing container. Let's start distributing this. Now I want quite a bit of clear. I want some black, probably about that much, and then my little micas. With mica powders, they do disperse very widely, so less is more. I've seen people make their micas really, really thick, and that's the style they're looking for. For me, this seems to work quite nicely. Oh, and actually need another one. Okay, so firstly we'll do the black. Now, when you don't need a lot of paint in resin to get the colour, it's more about the opacity that you want. Now I have a black gessoed board, so I don't need this super black, and you can use inks. And I believe that the rule of thumb with paint is that you don't mix in more than 10% of your actual resin. Now, I don't mix anywhere close to that, so it's nice and clear and the paint seems to be well distributed. Okay, now I've opened these little bags in advance because I always struggle with gloves. When you're working with mica powders, they are a very fine particle, so be careful that you don't breathe. Oh, that's a bit much. So that's about as much, as I'm going to use. And I'm going to carefully mix it in. You still want it well distributed and you don't want any clumps. So look at that, how beautiful is that? Now, unfortunately these little containers tip over, so I'll just leave that on top. And my next one will be the bronze. Now to me this is actually, even though it's labelled bronze, it's actually copper. And it's a beautiful colour as well. I'm having so much fun with these mica powders. They're the pearlescence that they give to your paintings. It's a completely different style to using flat colours and translucent inks. So they're definitely worth the play. Oh, sorry, there you go. It's the colour. Gold. Look at that, beautiful colour. And with all these powders, there seems to be hundreds of different shades of colours. So you can actually mix and match. Now, I adore this pearl, but it's probably a little bit too light for this particular colour set. So I'm going to mix it with some of the Aztec gold. And so I'll get a nice shade of the gold without the starkness of just the pearl. Okay, so let's take you back over there and we'll start the pour. Now this happens quite quickly, so let's see how. So I'm just extending the black out to the sides. I like the way this black frames the design. I have enough to go back and fill in any bits that need it. Okay, now clear will form the major part of this. Apologies, I should have kept this one on, because I'm just going to just blend that slightly. It's always a hard choice where to start these. I think you just go with what you're feeling. Okay, let's hit the hairdryer and see what happens. Oh, let me just get some coverage. Apologise for the noise of the hairdryer. I will, like in the last videos, reduce the sound on this. I cover my hairdryer handle with Glad wrap, and I think I've learnt something is don't get too close, you end up scooping resin with your hairdryer. So, okay, let's give this a shot. It's on the hottest setting and the lowest speed. Excellent. I'm happy with that. Let's bring you down for a look, and we'll see how it stops. Now, it will flow down this way because that's the way I've directed the hairdryer, but still very pretty. So I've lifted this side up because it seemed to be falling this way. It must be my house. It always falls to this corner. It's very tempting to pick up the hairdryer and actually do more. The problem with that is that you tend to mix the mica powders. At the moment you can almost see into this in the layers of the pearl gold, the bronze, the red. They seem to overlay each other with pieces of the clear resin, so you have a depth about it. If you play with it more, which you can, you end up with just a smear of an orangey red. So I'm tempted to just let it sit, and if I need to add things to it on a second layer, so be it. But yeah, very, very happy. I'll show you again some now, because I wasn't happy with the way it was moving, I've turned it upside down, and I'm going to just add a bit more hair drying action to this section here, and then if I lose all this, then I can add some more. So let's give it a go. That's a bit better. Now it's a bit more balanced. Okay, let's give you a look at that. Okay, so this is the upside down view. It didn't disperse too much, and I still have some definition of the colour, but looks really pretty. There's some lovely lacing happening, and still the depth of the colours much better.